Hey, what's up, cats and kittens, and shout out to all my Cerebralites. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, and I'm back with another episode of You Say What. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, You Say What is your opportunity to chime in, to leave your 2 cents, and to be a part of the discussion that is happening here on my channel within my community of Cerebralites. Having said that, before you go another further, do yourself a favor, and while you're at it, do me a solid. Take a second to hit that subscribe button. Once you've done that, take another second to hit that tiny little bell so you can turn on your notifications, and that way you'll be kept in the loop so you won't miss a thing. Okay, so right on the heels of Bobby Valentino, and you guys know all about the drama that happened there, comedian Duvall, who is notorious for putting his foot in his mouth, has made some very incendiary comments about killing a black trans woman should he be fooled or misled into believing that she was born cisgendered. He made these comments on The Breakfast Club, and I'm going to play that clip for you guys so you guys can hear it for yourself. Now, in this clip, one of the things that I found most disturbing is Charlamange. I'm a huge Charlamange fan, but I got to call it like I see it. While Duvall was going on this tirade, and you can hear Charlamange in the background. He's pretty much just in stitches. He is laughing hysterically, uncontrollably at the comments that Duvall is making. Now, it could be uncomfortable laughter. It didn't seem like it was uncomfortable laughter to me, but it seemed more like he was laughing because he knew what Duvall was saying was inappropriate, and maybe slightly to some degree he was living vicariously through what Duvall was saying, because these are thoughts that he said, but because he knows that he's on a national platform, i.e. The Breakfast Club, he can't say some of the things sometimes, but in private these are probably conversations that he has. So there's sort of this awkward laughter that you hear from Charmaine throughout the interview. So let's listen to the interview, and then I'm going to come back and give you guys my comments once we've heard it.
Hey everybody, it's DJ NV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. Now, if you just joined us, Friday, Duvall was up here and he said this. He said he met a girl and she didn't tell you she was a transgender.
That ain't a girl, I met a boy. That means I met a boy.
After 4 months, she told you I had sex, and then after...
We're not having sex. We're not having sex.
Yes, after 4 months, I had sex, and she said, Duvall...
This might sound messed up, and I don't care. She died. I can't deal with that.
That's a hate crime.
I can't do that. No, dog, you manipulated me to believe in this thing. My mind, I'm gay now. I'm gay.
No, you're not. She's a woman.
No.
Now, on Friday, he also said this.
I do agree that you are taking away a person's power of choice.
Yeah.
When you don't tell them up front. That's why when Janet Mock was there, she said she tells
there should be some type of repercussions for that if you do that to somebody.
You should go to jail or something.
Something.
Some charges be pressed.
So until then, I'm going to have my own repercussions. So.
When Janet Mock was there, she said she tells all her partners. She didn't tell the first one.
Who?
Janet Mock. She's
Who is that?
A transgender activist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Beautiful person.
Okay.
But you can't go around killing transgenders.
I'm not gonna kill transgenders. I didn't say. See, here you go trying to flip my words. I didn't say I'm gonna kill transgenders. I said if one did that to me,
if you had sex with one and then they didn't
tell me, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm probably gonna want to kill them.
Well, people were mad at the Breakfast Club. Said we shouldn't allow them to say that and are boycotting the Breakfast Club. So we're asking.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if you actually listen to the interview instead of listening to the manipulated clip that people have been circulating, you specifically heard us tell him that you can't do that. Absolutely. It's a hate crime. I specifically said you can't go around killing transgenders.
Well,
I said that verbatim.
Now, one thing I do want to say though is that it has been something for me that's been really important for us to get information about the transgender community and be more educated about it, which is why I had Janet Mock come to the show, which is why I feel like we've always up here advocated for equal rights for everyone, no matter what gender that you identify with. So that's never been an issue for us.
I mean, listen, I don't have no problem with having a conversation with anybody. I will sit around and kick it with anyone. And a lot of times to the detriment of my own self.
But you know what I don't like? If I don't know when I'm asking the question, it's not because I'm trying to be funny, it's because I honestly don't know.
Hey, you know what I don't like? I don't like people trying to hold me accountable for the words of another man. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not apologizing for the words of little
Right, and I think it's very clear if you listen to the whole entire interview you can hear that none of us are like, yes, little Duvall, that's what you should do.
We condemned it.
Little Duvall even reneged on it later on in the conversation.
Yes, you know when he reneged? When I told him that you can't go around killing transgender women.
He knows that. But I understand the hurt for that community with things that have been happening. So I'm not going to take away from how they feel about it, but I just want to make sure it's expressed that we have never in any way, like we didn't say those comments and we didn't agree with them.
My whole thing is focus the energy on the right person. And for all you people out there calling for me to apologize, I'm telling you right now, I am not apologizing for the words of another man. If we are going to get to the place where we start, if we're taking accountability for the things our guests say, then we don't need to have no guests.
Well, let's go to the phone lines. We have Sandra on the line. Sandra, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you think, Mama?
You guys should not be held accountable for what other people say. That makes zero sense. Duvall is a grown man. He can say whatever he wants, and he doesn't have to agree. I feel like with the whole transgender situation, it's still fairly new. People don't really understand what's going on in their bodies, what's going on in their minds, and some people aren't comfortable with it yet, and that's okay. Transgender people need to respect that. Other people just don't get it yet.
Can I ask you a question, Mom? Did you hear us specifically tell Duvall he can't go around saying he killing transgender people?
I did. Yep, you did say that.
Okay, just making sure. You heard us telling me that was a hate crime, right?
And when he referred to Janet Mock as a dude, I said no, she's a woman.
Hello, who's this?
This is Mimi.
Hey, Mimi, we're talking about some of the comments that Little Duvall made on Friday. What do you think?
Okay, so for one, you can't have no whole radio station accountable for what one yes said. And number two, we are too sensitive nowadays. What are we offended about now, America? Oh, he said that he wouldn't sleep with me. Oh, he said he don't like me. Enough is enough. Grow some, excuse my French, grow.
Well, I will say it's not the fact that he said he wouldn't sleep with them. It's the fact that he said
that person would be dying.
Yeah, that they would die. Because I mean, a lot of the
He ain't mean it. He ain't mean it.
But a lot of transgender women are dying. I don't know the exact rate, but they are out here getting killed. So
right, it is a danger for that community, and they are living in fear. So I understand being upset about that, but I do feel like we continue to have the conversation, and he did retract that statement.
Just be mad at the right person. And once again, I'm telling you right now, I'm not apologizing for the words of another man, especially when we condemned those words.
Okay, so I'm going to try to make this as succinct as I possibly can. So if I'm a little bit terse here, I apologize in advance. So the first thing I want to say is I disagree with what Lil Duvall had. I don't necessarily disagree with what he had to say. I disagree with how he said it. And here's why. I think that in today's society, people have a tendency, and I've seen this happen on my very own channel, even with what's The Bachelorette. When I talk about race issues, it's amazing to me how people go through what I say and cherry pick the things that they disagree with, but miss the complete message of what I'm saying. And so when I hear Lil Duvall speak, I don't agree with what he said in terms of killing another human being, because I could never be on board with that. But what he's saying is not that if I walk down the street and I came across a trans person, I would kill that person because I disagree with their lifestyle and I find them disgusting. That's not what he's saying. He's saying if I come across a trans person and you deceive me into having sex under the guise that you're something other than you know yourself to be, then I might have a violent reaction to that, i.e. murder. Now, is murder excessive? Absolutely. But I think that he was being hyperbolic. I don't necessarily think that he would actually kill a person. Maybe he would. I don't know. But I think that what he's saying is that if you deceive me, all bets are off. You know, I'm going in and I may not come out. So be prepared for that if you deceive me. Because what we have to understand is that Lil Duvall is not an anomaly. He speaks for a lot of men who feel the same exact way he does. I'm sorry, you guys. I had to stop the video because we have the lawn blower from hell operating outside of my front window, so I apologize. So anyhow, what I was saying was Lil Duvall speaks to the mentality, the pathology of a lot of men, not just black men, men of Caucasian descent, men of Asian and Hispanic. There are a lot of men who feel the same way that he do. And I think I said this was a mantra in another video of mine. If you're not ready to disclose, don't take off your clothes. Now, I don't think that that deceiving a person that way necessarily warrants death, but when you deceive, you don't necessarily have any control over what that person's reaction may be. You know, let's say the woman who was infected with herpes by Usher. If she had turned around and decided that rather than suing him for $1.1 million, that she was going to take a gun to his head, I think a lot of people would empathize with that and say, well, look, you got what you deserve. I think a lot of people might think that it's excessive, but I don't think that you can necessarily determine what's excessive for another person and what is a measured reaction for another person. I think that if you don't want to put yourself in a compromising position, don't put yourself in a position to be compromised. Just tell the truth. And if you're not ready to tell the truth, then just don't deal or interact with a person who may not be on board with what you want them to be on board with. I feel that a person deserves the right to choose for themselves. It's like these people out here, some people with HIV, who know that they're positive and still have sex indiscriminately and don't tell people. If you infected me with HIV, I might be inclined to murder you. I'm being completely honest. Tell that to people all the time. People will say, how come I'm not sexually active? And part of the reason why I'm not sexually active is because if I come down with something, I need to know exactly who to kill. So I need to be very deliberate in terms of who I sleep with, because I might have a violent reaction to that, because you have taken away my choice. You have permanently affected the way that I see myself. You have changed the way that I have to move throughout the world. You have affected my life in a way that it will never be the same. And so when I look at it from that standpoint, I can understand why deception for some men might be a greater deal than it is for others. The point is, when you deceive a person, you don't have the opportunity or the leverage to really determine how that person's going to react. So just don't do it. Now, here's my critique for Lil Duvall. Enlighten yourself. At the end of the day, what we have to remember is that good people are good people. Gay, straight, trans, black, white, Asian, Indian, whatever nationality, whatever race, whatever sexual orientation, whatever gender identity. A good person is a good person. A bad person is a bad person. I'm not a religious person. I know that religion factors into this for a lot of people. For me, I'm a spiritual person. I'm a person who feels synergy or energy with people, and that really determines how I interact or to what level I'm willing to integrate that person into my life. So I don't necessarily judge people based on what their sexual proclivities may be. It's really none of my business if I'm not sleeping with you, and so I personally don't care. But I think that Lil Duvall, and shame on Charlamagne, like I love Charlamagne. I'm a huge Charlamagne fan, but I have to admit I was a little disturbed by the way that he was laughing at some of the things that Lil Duvall was saying, because Charlamagne definitely has his foot in the LGBT community, so I think that it was an opportunity for him to educate in a way, but rather than taking that moment, he was laughing a lot. And personally, I think that he was laughing because he identified with some of the things that Lil Duvall was saying. B, a lot of the things that Lil Duvall was saying are probably things that he thinks but doesn't say on air because he realizes that it could be detrimental to his career long term. And C, when he's with his homeboys, these are the conversations that they're having when the cameras aren't on. And that's fine. But now you have an opportunity to, because we've seen so many trans women across the country who weren't necessarily out to deceive people, but were just out living their lives. And the fact that they were living their lives, for some people, made them uncomfortable and made them inclined to violence. And that is 100% wrong, because that violence is unwarranted. And not that I'm condoning violence in the case of, even in the capacity that Lil Duvall was describing, but in that particular instance, I can understand how it might elicit a negative response of some sort. So having said that, you guys, I'm going to stop the video here, and you know the drill, so I won't go any further. And that concludes this episode. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, and please share if you feel so inclined. Remember to follow me across all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Also remember, it is better to be pissed off than it is to be pissed on. And as always, in closing, people, remember to live better, love harder, and think smarter. It is me, the Cerebral Diva. I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day, and as always, thank you for listening.